I'm Dan Lutz, and welcome to the Frontlines in the battle against the deep state, the cabal, the Illuminonkeys, and all those that wish to enslave all of humanity for their own selfish reasons. Welcome again. So I would like to start off with going off of yesterday's broadcast. Sorry about that. So I was noticing that there are some messages coming from people, again, talking about audio, and I'd just like to help you out and let you know there's some ways that I can try to direct you to have better audio. If you're coming from a computer, for example, you may have some problems listening. What I do on my own system, I'd like to share with you. Now that I don't know if that covers everyone. Just so you know, when I'm speaking, right now, I am roughly about two hands away from the microphone, right? If I get closer like this, it's going to end up being a little bit louder. If I'm back here, it's a little less. As close as I can literally get the computer to my face would be about like this. It's a little uncomfortable for me being this close to the screen. Literally, it's like that far away. Yeah, see? Very close. Also a little difficult to get perspective to read the screen. Mostly, this came about as a result of several unfortunate circumstances. One, there was a heat wave. My air conditioner broke. Which made my desktop system, which I actually even had a microphone that I would keep over my ear, and the microphone would be right there. Much better sound. It overheated, and my display car fried. After that, I had to go to my laptop, which is what I'm working off of right here. So I'm kind of limited. There's no jack in. There's no place for me to plug in a microphone. I could maybe mess around and get a microphone that worked through USB, but my USB ports on the system are a little flaky. So anyway, I can give you some help in that, and also I'm going to go over a couple of comments that were left on the broadcast from yesterday, and which is a Life Force update, and I'm going to go over one of the pieces that we discussed yesterday. Today, Life Force or Speak Project has listed one of the broadcasts from yesterday. And I'm going to go over about a 2-minute segment of that where Kim is talking about something. All right, so we're going to get into that. But before we go any further, I'd like to say this broadcast is brought to you by way of your donations to me, by way of the YouTube down below the description. You can find my PayPal link, and you can send me a donation. Any amount is fine. I received one donation yesterday for $5. That is much appreciated. It really is. Because I know the people that are giving small amounts don't have anything. And I'm not really, if you really can't afford to give any, don't. But I do appreciate it. I accept it as you're blessing me. And I don't want to deny you the blessings for actually the spirit of giving in which you're doing that. I really do appreciate even small amounts because I know what it means. When I have nothing and I sometimes am compelled to give something of what I have, even though it is so little, I understand what that's all about. So again, I thank you. And also the Life Force link is also down below if you'd like to contribute to Life Force. That being said, we'll move on. Let me share first. Let's do the audio first. Let me line this up. So I'm going to show you inside a browser extensions. So let me switch over to there. So as you can see, I have an extension up here, which is called Volume Booster. So I just went ahead, it's Volume Booster version 0.1.3. As it appears, if you look in the upper right-hand corner of my screen, there's a red box and then there's an orange one here. If I click on that, it'll actually bring up this ability for me to turn on a particular tab, the extension to turn it on, and we'll boost the audio. That's what I'm hearing coming from the page. So if I'm on a YouTube screen, let me turn that off for a moment because I actually just turned it on for this particular tab. Sometimes it's a little resistant to turning off. Have to be highlighted. There we go. So it turned off. So if I go over to, say, this one, and you see at the top, do you see the top? No, you're not seeing it. Let me move this down a little bit, see if that helps out a little bit. Yeah. Nope, still not grabbing the one I'm trying to show you here. Yeah, yes, no, that should do it. There. So now you can see the tabs at the top of my screen. If I click on the volume booster, see the tab, or on the window the tab that I'm currently on, which is like the third one from the right-hand side. Right? I'm going to click on the volume booster, and see how it turned blue. That means that the volume coming across here is going to be higher. I'll go ahead and I'll press play so you can see what it's like.
First, how are you feeling? Do you know maybe how, when, where? I guess nobody really knows when they contract this.
Yeah, I'm feeling great. I'm having
I
no
turned
symptoms.
It off now.
I'm very blessed to have a mild case, or really just an asymptomatic case. My heart goes out to all of those who have been affected by this, and all of those who have lost their lives. But I'm pleased to see that our
So I'll turn off Kellyanne for the moment. So again, that was in extensions. It's under the browser extension. I'm actually using the Opera web browser. It is very similar to Chrome, but has some things in it that I like, right? So I use Opera, but this same extension is, I believe this is actually a Chrome extension, but you can get this extension added to your browser. You see I have another one down here, which is a YouTube downloader, so I could download files that are on YouTube. Here's another one, Zoom for Opera. Right, so there's a lot of extensions that you can use. My highlighter one is in here too, so you see me highlight things on the screen. Where is it at? Super simple highlighter. So with this, I'm able to go ahead and highlight things on the screen. So if I wanted to give you a demonstration, I just select some text. I then click on this and go down to highlight in orange. Of course, it didn't come up. It might not come up on this screen because this is extension screen as opposed to a web page. So anyway, okay, that's what I wanted to show you there. That is one way that I can help you with the audio issues. Beyond that, I really can't just be locked in down that close to my screen to do it. So anyway, let me move around to here, and we'll start covering a couple of things. Okay, so before we get into that, so let's talk about what is going to be I'm going to cover today. So there's a few items such as that, which is the DEW laser being used again. This time, not in California, and not, I don't think, about dealing with fires as much as pumping heat into the ground in a geologically sensitive area in the Mideast, kind of an area where the tectonic plates are kind of like whooping around. There's some geographically sensitive areas right there, so geologically sensitive areas right there, which it's showing that there is this 1100 degree Fahrenheit beam coming in and pumping energy into the ground. Why is that important? All right. Well, it ties into what Kim was talking about, right? With these generals focusing on some ICBMs, that didn't go off, but they were trying to create geological events. So might this be some assistance that they were, conducting some ways of pumping heat into the ground, right? So, all right, so that's a bit of a problem, right? All right, so so there's a lot of things to tie together. So it's going to be a little bit of a tapestry we'll be weaving here. So that also gets into the voting situation and the amount of voter fraud that is underway right now. And I gave kind of an emergency, video that I posted yesterday. I put it on my Facebook, I put it on my Twitter, and I asked everyone to spread it around, with Dr. Shiva being denied his rightful election or being selected as the nominee of the Republican Party to run for office in November. They selected someone else, someone that has nobody knows who it is. Somehow he won, but not in the areas where they did physical counting of votes, where they had electronic voting. And so we're going to go over that, right? And also the other types of voter fraud that are all in place, all in conjunction with what we've been hearing about, the mail-in ballot voting, right? So there's I don't know if they're using any new lasers on the voting, but who knows? And also, what's been going on with Trump and the other people in the cabinet or inside the White House, which is 21 people now infected, and including who we were just seeing there, Karen Conway. How she was basically, in the position of that. So why don't we start with her, because we were on her already, and she's just going to talk about, how she feels. And we go back a little bit here.
To have a mild case or really just an asymptomatic case, my heart goes out to all of those who have been affected by this, and all those who have lost their lives. But
sorry.
This?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. I'm having no symptoms. I'm very blessed to have a mild case or really just an asymptomatic case. My heart goes out to all of those who have been affected by this, and all of those who have lost their lives. But I'm pleased to see that our commander-in-chief is doing well. Watching him on that balcony, just showing that we will overcome, America will overcome, just as he is overcoming this illness, I think was a really nice moment for our country to see.
There's also, we can't forget the medical geniuses, the researchers, the scientists, Regeneron, Remdesivir. I don't want to get back into the hydroxychloroquine, but many doctors swear by it. Put that aside for a minute. But all the other therapeutics that we've developed, and again, between Pfizer, Moderna, and AstraZeneca and other companies, final stage trial for a vaccine 10 months after the first identified case of corona in America, that is historic and miraculous in its own right.
You make a very good point, Sean. The fact that this President Trump, was able to tear down bureaucratic red tape, get us dexamethasone, remdesivir, monoclonal antibodies, these landmark treatments and therapeutics. This was a novel virus that came in from China. No one had seen it. There were no tests. There were no therapeutics. In short order, President Trump developed them, and this vaccine is on pace to be the fastest vaccine for a novel pathogen.
So it's interesting they didn't actually let him go all the way up to the White House and show him standing on the balcony, and he's saluting the military helicopter that just brought him in. Yes, that's Fox for you. It's only 80% of the way there. And I'm being generous at this point. All right, so let's knock that down for a moment. Let's see. We'll take a look. So we've got 20 viewers right now. Hello, everybody. Okay, so just wanted to check in and see how things are going. So making sure I'm still broadcasting. Let's go over to this for a moment. Now this is again a video. This is a pretty long video. We're only going to look at a couple of segments of it. This is basically someone that's seeing this energy beam that's coming in, and he's basically talking about where it's hitting. So I'm going to kind of jump around it a little bit here, so we can kind of see this. So now this area where all the red dots is where he's talking about, and in the the mid right here, and then right in the mid lower area. This is where these beams are literally hitting. Right, and they know the temperature is also coming in, and they can measure what see what the details are, and they're like 1100 degrees. So let me go forward here. So this little map he's showing. So these red arrows, if you see how in the center it's kind of heading upwards, through through Texas, Oklahoma, and it does this loop and comes back down. This bend at the bottom is where we're looking at, and up here too, where these bends are. These are where the plates are basically running together. And that's why it's important to point out that this is where these lasers are hitting. So I'm going to push play from here.
And I can tell you this, if I saw this going out in California like this, let's say this was happening down in another very active seismic. Let's say this happened across LA. If this happened across LA, I would warn Southern California, all of Southern California, for the potential of a large
So what he's showing there is as he's going back and forth, in the middle of the screen, there's these little black dots that are appearing and disappearing. That's heat. It's showing up as these dots. So it's there for a little while and then gone, right? If it's a fire, it's going to spread. It's just not going to disappear.
And I would look for the rest of the week, at least, for that. Just because the amount of heat that it would take to cause something like this, first of all, to shoot up through the plate, and for it to match the New Madrid seismic zone, oh man, it's just too big of a coincidence. We have to watch now for the next week, and I have to, dust off my emergency kits, because this could lead to if this is a release of heat from the plate shifting or bending somehow, then we do have to watch for the potential of a large quake. Another way to look at this is all happening about 2 weeks after the West Coast shifted. Over on the West Coast, we had a slow slip with thousands, well, actually more than 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And then this past week, another quick slip of a few hundred and 4.0 range activity, almost 5. Well, it was a 5. It was up to a 5.8 that struck down here in Southern California just a few days back. Now, all of a sudden, over here on the edge of the Craton, over to the east, a sudden hotspot outbreak. Now, I'd like to look at this at visible satellite just to see. Let's go look at natural color fire, visible for the day, and hit play. So here we are last night going into this morning. There we are. We start throughout the day. There's our cold front that blew through. It's just getting cold and...
Oop.
Whoa. There was a flash or something there. Hold on. There was some kind of beam that just took off. Guys, there was some kind of... Hold on. What? No. Oh, no. Okay, what is this frame? October 4th, 2020 at 19:26:15 UTC. Everybody go verify this on your own version of GOES. This is a beam. Hold on. Are you kidding me? All right, we need to go look back out at a regional sector.
Okay, so, this is what I wanted to point out. So, this is not about the fires per se, right? And when we're looking at what's happening in California, maybe it's also not about the fires. So the fires are beneficial, right, to a state looking for funding, right? And I remember Trump making that comment, it's going to get cold, you watch. Because they're talking about the heat, right? So it's he's like, global warming, climate, it's the climate weather, I say climate weather because, it is weather. Weather is hot and cold and rainy and hot, dry. And so it changes, right? That's what weather does. So climate change means weather. So, but now what have we been hearing all for the last 2 weeks in the, let's say, the certain segment of the alternative media that is focused in on 10 days of darkness, and that there's going to be some calamities, and there's going to be an earthquake, there's going to be a meteor strike, all of this calamities type stuff happening at the same time when these meetings were going on, right? So these meetings were going on, and they're all expecting calamity, apocalyptic calamity. And though, let's say, the ICBMs did not go off and there was no, big problems happening on the plates, does that mean that there was only one thing that they were doing to cause the shift to happen? And, or maybe they had, the ICBM, didn't work, so they tried using the laser to pump energy into the fault lines? We're gonna make it happen no matter what. They're doing something, right? So this is happening in real time, but it's not working, right? It's not working for them. All right. So anyway, just wondering. We're getting through this. We got several more little stories, and they're not all interrelated. So. There was another story I wanted to cover on the comment section. Let me just say, so people were leaving some comments, and I want to, and that's another thing. So this was about the audio. That's one thing I wanted to explain, and let me say this one here. So someone broke down this word right here. And they wanted me to know how to say it, because yesterday I was saying hydro something. I know how to say it. What did I say? Here, I replied, yes, I know. YouTube can take down the video for saying it. So when I say hydrochloric something or other, it's because I can't say the full word without having the video being taken down in this hypersensitive time frame that we're in. So I'm not saying the number 17th letter of the alphabet. I say 17 NES. Like any us sounds like anana something or other that I can't say. So when those kind of things happen, please, I get it. I appreciate that you're trying to help me. I just wanted to set it straight so you know that I'm speaking in a bit of code here, Pidgin English or, Pidgin Greek, however you want to call it. All right, so let's continue on here. So this gets into, what I was saying, the election fraud type of stuff. So this is like an hour with Dr. Shiva. I urge you to watch the entire thing. It's fantastically expresses how bad everything is actually. But let's listen to a couple minutes and then we'll go from there. But first, it's also going to show him going to ask for the evidence of the vote and see what happens.
Can literally flip a switch and manipulate the outcome of the election. The candidate and literal inventor of email. He holds 4 MIT degrees. He'll be joining me momentarily, but first let's watch the reaction of the Massachusetts state officials when Dr. Shiva files his FOIA request for ballot images to the Secretary of State's office. Now, I want you to keep in mind, federal law requires states to keep a copy for 22 months of each ballot after the vote is cast. Watch the reaction.
Yes, so this is an information request. Okay. So I thought I'd drop it off. My counsel said to do it here. If you could just give me a receipt that you got it.
Yeah, sure. You want like a time stamp
Yeah,
copy?
if you can stamp it and then give me a copy.
Here's your time stamp copy.
Okay.
I mean, and just glancing at this, I don't think we took any pictures of any ballots. That's the whole thing. Well, here, you know what? Forget it. Don't forget what I said. We're just going to reply to you right, okay?
Yeah, so I know the electronic systems have the ballot images.
I don't believe so.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, the Diebold AccuVote electronic systems, not all of them. 51 places you guys do them by hand. The other 200 places they do them with the AccuVote systems.
I mean,
which save the ballot images. Yeah.
I don't believe that's correct. I don't believe they're saved. I think we turned any features like that off. I don't believe that we're going to be able to provide you with anything. I mean, what are you getting at, man? I don't want to be disrespectful, but what are you getting at? There was no recount.
I don't think
things rigged.
Pretty damning, right? Pretty damning.
I say that's pretty damning. So, you see the guy, passing by the window, that when the guy passed the buck to the other guy and he went by, he saw he was being filmed, and he went to the next window where you couldn't see him, and he started speaking to him. So he's just trying to stay off camera, right? And so, Dr. Shiva goes into a lot of detail on exactly what was going on there. But what it comes down to is they're required to keep the information so that you can verify an election. Federally, that's the law. It's a federal election. So what they did was, and they flipped the switch, right, and literally created a situation where every vote coming in was multiplied for the other candidate times something like 1.1, 1.14, 1.18, whatever they set it for. Why would they have that kind of feature in a voting machine? That's how corrupt the system is. It shouldn't exist. And if you turn that feature on, it deletes all the ballots. Why would you have that feature in a voting machine? So it's showing how corrupt it is. And Dr. Shiva goes into how he's going to do a write-in campaign, and I wish him a lot of luck. I think we should give him a lot of support on helping him get literally past this corruption with a write-in campaign, and I think that will work. I think he's going to pull it off. All right. That being said, it's showing that how corrupt the system is, and there's a collusion between the Republican and Democrat Party in Massachusetts, where he's saying that they kind of square off with one another, and they say, "Well, I'll tell you what, we'll let you have the governorship and Congress positions, but you let us keep the Senate seats." Right? So it's always Democrat Senate seats there, but they get to be governor every other time. The Republicans get to be governor. Something along those lines. There's some kind of collusion between the parties, the people in charge, regardless of what the people want. It's the corruption. And that's what we're faced with. Okay, so let's move on. So again, that's wonderful video. You should really look into that and see. But we're going to step over to some more corruption being exposed. This is by way of the Glenn Beck show and his guest that he has on with True the Vote founder.
Catherine Engelbrecht is with us. She's the founder and president of True the Vote. This is I think that's a 501 C3 voter rights organization that just is trying to true the vote against any kind of cheating on either side, which I think all Americans are behind. I'll accept the vote if it is accurate and nobody is cheated on either side. She is here to talk to us about what is happening in Harris County here in Texas. Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's been a wild ride.
I bet it has. So can you go through what is happening with Biden's political director that is implicated in this scheme in Harris County?
Sure. I mean, they are on video claiming that they have, long been laundering mail-in ballots among the most vulnerable of communities in long-term care facilities, to the homeless populations, and this is just part of a much broader piece playing out across Texas, across the nation. So the weaknesses of our process are now being put on full display, and and the sad truth of it is the fraud's been institutionalized in ways that a lot of Americans haven't seen until now.
Yeah, this is the first time that I am at least aware of that this has been seems to be a nationwide push to institutionalize this fraud. In some states, they're even suing now to get rid of signature verification.
Oh, absolutely! It's engineered chaos, and the conductor behind all of those lawsuits is a lawyer by the name of Mark Elias, who cut his teeth in the Al Franken Norm Coleman battle of 2008, when mail ballots played a pivotal role in securing that election ultimately for Al Franken, who went on to be that filibuster-proof vote they needed to get the Affordable Care Act passed. Mark Elias has now grown to great fame this cycle. He's Hillary Clinton's attorney, and this cycle he has been behind over 90 such lawsuits that have removed signature verifications, that have removed postmark standards, that have...
Whoa. Those actually went through?
Oh, my gosh. They're going through all over the place.
Where you don't have to have a postmark or a signature verification?
Oh, they are. This is part of the plan, Glenn, is to cause such rampant confusion over standards, and they're setting them up to knock them down. So they're setting up all these lawsuits on the front side. Now, stick with me here. They're setting them all up here. Nobody knows where the dust settles, because we're battling this out in the courts. Now we get to Election Day, and boom, November 4th, they have the opportunity to declare all kinds of their own manufacturing of Bush v. Gore legal arguments or disparate impact against minority and protected communities because of what they did on the front side of the election. That's where this is headed.
So I knew it was going to be bad with court proceedings. I didn't think that they had I knew that they were trying to. I didn't know that they had gotten the postmark verification and the signature verification through. That those don't count anymore.
Okay, so you can see where this is headed, right? That the 90 different lawsuits, probably in like big counties or cities, all basically related to the voting. Now my dog is bothering me. Go lay down. He wants to be on the broadcast. The cat made it on yesterday, so he feels like he wants to be on. Let's see if I can. Say hello, Dexter. All right, there. So this is big, right? It's going to be across the board. They're going to challenge the election. That's part of the color revolutions playbook. We went over it, right? Create as much doubt about the election process as possible. 80 million ballots thrown out there into the wild, right? Make all of the signatures not needed to be verified. right? Put ballot harvesting where people can just gather them up and you don't need to check the postmark or that. They're just pieces of paper with someone checking off on it. And oh, by the way, all of the ballots, if you read in the barcode, you'll come along to where there's a letter R or a letter D. And if you know it's an R, it's a Republican vote, you don't have to include those, right? You just set those aside for later, right? Oh, you forgot to send all the ones with R's in. You were trying to help them pre-cast the vote, so you divided the R's and the D's and only sent the D's in ahead first. So all of these kind of things that they're doing to cause all sorts of, as Glenn was saying, institutionalized voting, right? Where they select who they're going to pick. This is communism. That's how communism works, right? It's all about your buddy and your friends and your connections and who's basically going to be pushed forward, right? Who's next in line? Who's done the best amount of favors? Who's done all of this stuff, regardless of what the people want. It's not democracy. It's faux democracy. Let's continue here. Let's see. Okay, here's this one. Now we're going to kind of shift gears here a little bit. Oops, now that becomes so small.
This week. This is really important, which is what the Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe, declassified this week. A major bombshell that we got when Ratcliffe sent a letter to Lindsey Graham going through the intelligence that he was declassifying. You are a member of the Gang of Eight, which of course is a term for a set of 8 leaders within the country and within Congress who are briefed on classified intelligence matters by the executive branch. You were briefed on this information this week. So let's talk about it. So here's the letter to Chairman Graham. And what we learned here is that on September 7th, 2016, U.S. intelligence officials forwarded an investigative referral to FBI Director Jim Comey and Peter Strzok regarding U.S. presidential candidate Hillary Clinton approved a plan concerning U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump and Russian hackers hampering U.S. elections as a means of distracting the public from her use of a private email from her private server. So we see that Hillary Clinton approved a plan to stir up a scandal about Donald Trump in 2016. Congressman, we've been talking about the Russia hoax now for 3.5 years, and now we learned that it was Hillary Clinton's idea. What can you tell us?
Well, when Director Ratcliffe released this, the leaders of Congress wanted to have a meeting because no one in Congress, the House or the Senate, has ever seen this information, even though we have spent all these years investigating. Now, let's walk through, and remember, I must be careful here because some of this is still classified, but let's
not walk through right there, but you get it, right? We're talking about, again, the Russian collusion, the Obamagate, the treason that took place against Trump. So I'm moving forward onto another one. Now this is Devin Nunes basically saying, we've got to clean this all up, right? We requested this information. McCarthy was just going to go over this.
Joining us tonight to take all of this up and more, Congressman Devin Nunes, ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, author of Countdown to Socialism, available now. And it is, Congressman, great to have you.
Oh, well, it doesn't want to play, does it? Well, push pause here, and I'll let it catch up.
With us, let's start with these.
Okay, I push pause. Okay, so why is this important? Why am I bringing this up? It's everything happening at once, right? Just imagine an orchestra. Imagine Trump being the maestro, right? He's out there and he's conducting, right? So He's basically got, the horns playing off over there, and you've got the Russian collusion story, right? And he's sounding off the trumpets, and all the horns are coming in, right? And then what else do you have? Well, you've got the plague, the China plague, right? So so now you have the drums pounding about China plague, no masks, all the different treatments, all of this stuff is going on. And what else do you have going on? Well, the pedivore, all of the stuff, the satanic rituals, all of this kind of stuff being brought forward, right? So now you have, the strings are now coming in, and they're playing. All of it coming together. All of it is basically making one musical, overwhelming musical event. You could say watch the movie, but you can listen to the orchestra, because in this movie, you've got it's quite a drama, right? It's an action-packed flick, and so all of these things are coming out right now, right? And then of course in the background, we also know we have what was being covered in the Life Force meeting yesterday, and we have those generals that were there, and Black Sun generals sitting around the table. We're going to push forward with our plan of destruction. And, we can see the dual lasers are still, we're going to make it. We're going to make the world be destroyed. Whatever. So everything's happening right now. Everything. Over the top. Right. So, all right. So I think we can play Devin Nunes. Let me see.
Allegations about Haspel blocking access to declassified documents, and how successful can she be if indeed she is?
Well, we've worked closely together with the director for many, many years. I hope that that's not the case. I've read the same stories that you have. The key to all of this has been full and complete transparency and the maximum release of documentation. So no matter what intelligence agency has it, we need it, and we need it now. The American people have a right to know about this information that is still being classified. And so, look, we're continuing to work as well as we can. I will tell you that Director Ratcliffe has been...
Okay, so he's talking about Director Radcliffe and how she's holding up information, right? He says, well, I hope it's not true, because he's working with her, right? But what did he say? He said, we need all of this information, and we need it now. So the D class has been hanging out there over their heads like a sword over their heads all this time. And now the call is coming forth to bring out this information. And he said, McCarthy says, we haven't seen this before, right? He's in the Gang of Eight. Why didn't he see it, right? This is pertinent information. If the people in Congress, which is the representative of the people, are asking the deep state apparatus to bring forth information, and they're not doing it, there's a problem. And that's why this is being brought out right now, front and center, so everybody can see what's happening. That's what this is about. So, this is no ordinary 4-year election, as our favorite poster has said so many times. So let me go on and get to the next thing here. All right. This is a thread, 3 days and 3 nights, from October 4th. So what are we talking about here? Our E Island here. Never forget that E Island was once a $250 million underground custom complex built for the worst things you can think of. It took time to study the topology of 30 feet to 60 feet above sea level spans the entire island and allows for perfect tunnels. So they're basically showing that you could put a tunnel that went from one end to the other. And then a network of tunnels going from each of the temples. And they're talking that there's temples at the South Temple, the East Temple, the North Temple, the West Temple, and what the importance of that is. So this is also, part of the art orchestra, right? So we're hearing all of the stories happening about this coming out. I covered this news dump that came out that showed CYM Corporation, CYM Corp, that all of these documents are about harvesting of the adrenochrome, right? Massive amounts of children, their ages, how long they're lasting, some upwards of just shy of 2 years, some are only lasting a couple of months. I have more documentation. I got some more from ELLE'STER. We had covered Sasha Stone and Rotten David STEELE in the ITNJ. We did that video. I did not post it on YouTube, but it is posted on my BitChute. You can go over and take a look at it. And so we went over more of this information, including tools that they were using for the purposes of torture, settling torches, and things of that nature. So there's a lot more information in that dump. And so we're probably going to do another video. I don't know if I'll put it here on YouTube or it'll have to be over on BitChute, but this is also happening right now. This is what this one storyline, which I don't even like to call it that, because it's so important that we need to stop it, what's happening to the children. But in the way we've been bringing this about and explaining it, this part of the storyline trumps anything that they're going to say about voter suppression, the votes being not legitimate, all of it. No matter what they say, they're not going to get away with this. People want to protect their children. So it doesn't matter how much kind of confusion they start with all the legal processes, 90 different lawsuits, and Trump is winning some of the lawsuits about requiring signatures. And it'll go to the Supreme Court, and it'll probably be ruled on by, including the new justice, which will definitely tilt things in the favor of our outcome, no matter what Roberts does. So, although this is very much an overload of information coming, right? That this is all hitting all at this time because it is, it's getting towards that point of the music where it's the Cassandro. I don't pronounce it correctly. Cassandro? Yeah, it's building to that moment, and that's what we're going to see, right? And that's what we're going to hear. And that's what we're experiencing on a spiritual basis as well. We feel the energy all around us, right? We're in this. Right? We're participating. We're making things happen. We're coming together in the assemblies. People are going to be looking for how to fix this. The assemblies are there at the right time, at the right place. That's why we have to get it out into the world so that people know. So they know where to turn to. Okay, so we've got the next thing to go over. Which we're going to go over what Kim was saying in this meeting. So this is a 2-minute piece. We're just going to listen in. From the video that was just posted, I guess today, called "Mic Drop Warning from the Ground Command Life Force Meeting," and this is I'm just going to. The reason why I'm playing it is really about what's happening with Trump, and that's what I want to discuss. Just what's happening with Trump.
Okay. So all day Friday, we all knew there was a problem. So where was he going? Now, we have confirmed with 100% certainty, including with copies of the tests, that he is negative for COVID. Okay? So what was Trump doing? So Trump decided to make a trip to a base in northern Greenland this week, where he intended to have a talk with some of the inhabitants up there.
So first of all, who are the inhabitants up there? I get the feeling it has nothing to do with the fishermen, of Greenland. That we're really talking about some subterranean bases, possibly, some sort of place where other races meet and have a say. Maybe they meet. Maybe things happen in Antarctica, and maybe they happen in Greenland. But maybe that's why he went there, to have a conversation with them. All right, so let's keep going.
I was asked to participate by diplomatic line, and I did. And I will leave it with the fact that what he was asking for was declined. It was denied. So if any of his, participants in this razzle-dazzle thing that he had going on are wondering, he was declined. Now, I was there. I have it recorded. I can send it to anyone who asked me for it. Okay? So if they don't believe what I'm saying to be true. Now, I will see what happens on Monday. There's an opportunity here for success, right? Not success of what he asked for, because it was ridiculous, but opportunity for a successful presidency. Okay?
So let's stop right there. Okay. What was Trump asking for that was ridiculous? Kim sounds a little perturbed by this, right? So what would he be going there to ask of them? So maybe he was asking to be made, the commander of the earth? Maybe to have a position of something along those lines. Again, it's just a guess on my part, but it sounds like, well, what would he be doing there, right? But Kim is saying, well, we'll see what happens on Monday, right? And see if you're going to have a successful presidency. It's like, put him in his place, in other words. You're going to have a successful presidency? You can't have my job? Listen, I don't know if this is true. I mean, what my thoughts about that were. I'm just guessing, but it was very curious the way this all came about, right? And so Trump, was back within 3 days, right? So that's enough time to take a little trip and get back. Everything happening at Walter Reed could have been, staged before. The doctors coming out and doing their stuff, they could do it at that time and no problems. So anyway, that's that's kind of just my guess, right? So Kim went on to say, that she's got the evidence, and that if let's just finish this a little bit more.
So if there's a decision made that he's going to continue on a different agenda, immediately I will air the rest of every single thing that happened on that meeting and during that meeting.
So, in other words, if you're going to have a different agenda, meaning that she has an agreement with Trump, right? And if he's going to go off and do something else, she's going to reveal what happened in the meeting. It seems fair. Anyway, those are just my thoughts. Again, I do not know. Well, I guess we will find out soon enough if that is actually what's going on there. It's quite a warning she gave to the members of the factions, right? Within 7 to 10 days, they'll be wiped out if they try anything like this ever again. I don't think she's playing anymore. She's not playing their games, and she's not going to fool around, right? The Life Force Enforcement Unit is on the ground, a ground force enforcement unit. Yeah, so things are moving, and so let's see how they unfold. Okay, I guess that is it for today. Let me just check and see if there's any questions in the chat room before we move on. We're just at about an hour. I like to end it right there. Hello, everybody. Yeah, Dutch. Yeah, the Dutch own the Greenland. That was something I'll say. What else is here? It looks like there's a troll in the group. Why? They have to come up. But okay, all right. These things happen, and the point is when these people are coming out from underneath the bridge to yell out things, you wonder, what is their life? This is how they spend their life. It's really remarkable. People that are involved in actually doing something to change the way things have been laid out for us for all this time. Are they really that asleep? They don't know, right? Anyway, surprising. Okay. That being said, again, it does require us to take action. Join the assemblies. Go to lifeforce.global. See how you can download the LifeForce app, or just go to the Play Store or Apple Store and download the LifeForce Watch and join one of the assemblies. You can join a couple assemblies if you like, right? Just to get your handle on how things are being done. Join and participate. You have to participate. It's good to make that first step to join, but you got to check back. Yeah, and there is a chat room there, and you can find out information. You can ask questions. In the California Assembly meeting, we're meeting once a week on Thursdays at 7 p.m. I believe Eastern Standard Time. No, Pacific Time. I'm sorry, 7 p.m. Eastern Pacific Standard Time. So I'm getting confused. But LifeForce meetings are always on Eastern Standard Time. Of course, California, being on Pacific, has Pacific Standard Time. And then we also are doing the People Show, which is a place where we can come together and talk about things so that everyone can see how we're doing things. So the assembly meetings are private, and the things that we're going to do on the People Show is going to be all about bringing this forward so people can hear everything that's going on. So please participate. Do what you can. And I guess, and then till tomorrow, we'll see it. Have heart, because we are winning. Winning, as Trump likes to say. Even if Trump is looking to, maneuver himself into a different position for whatever reason, I still have faith that we're on the right team there. Okay. Until tomorrow. Bye-bye.